Tonight, councils and government call for immediate funding to Eyre Peninsula's roads. And a nationwide vet shortage causing stress on our regional clinics.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with Casey Treelaw begins now.
Good evening. Local councils and government are today calling for an immediate fix for road upgrades on the Eyre Peninsula. The new push comes as Viterra this week announced its transition of transport away from rail and onto the region's roads.
An increase of trucks raising major concerns for Port Lincoln. With our roads needing dire upgrades, officials are calling on the federal government for assistance. It comes as local streets and highways will be expected to handle hundreds of extra grain trucks per week during harvest, en route to the Viterra solos.
The City of Port Lincoln will be the pointy part, and it will have a significant impact for us if we don't get some assistance in that area.
With an additional 24,000 vehicles set to take over our roads, many are concerned about extra congestion.
The impact will probably be in the Western Approach Road through Moorlock Terrace and Porter Street into the silos.
Local councils and politicians working together to seek viable solutions.
First thing I've got to do is get an agreement between the state government and the federal government to put some extra money in.
It's unknown how much funding will be required or whether we'll get it, leaving many road users concerned for their safety.
It really worries me. I think that there is a high possibility that there will be more fatalities.
Our roads don't support the bigger trucks.
Not just the increase of trucks through the town, it's the damage that it's going to do to the roads and infrastructure.
But some suggest there's a silver lining to the situation.
Vehicle servicing, vehicle maintenance, increase in the size of vehicle fleets for operators, which means more employment for jobs.
Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
The Nationals Party has been referred to the New South Wales Electoral Commission after another questionable flyer was spotted in the Far West region. It's believed the leaflet is encouraging people to vote for the party to receive a financial incentive.
A flyer potentially bribing New South Wales voters.
They're desperate, they're headed for the block, and they should be thrown out of government on March the 23rd.
Voters in marginal seats like Ballina and Barwon have received the letter on behalf of local Nationals candidates. It has the message "Vote 1 for the Nationals to get your $250 regional seniors transport card." The scheme mentioned allows eligible seniors to use the card to buy fuel, taxis, bus or train tickets, making it easier for them to get around. However, some believe the flyer is acting as a bribe to secure senior voters.
That is against the law. I've referred it to the Electoral Commission.
Section 209 of the New South Wales Election Act says a person must not give, promise or offer to give any benefit of any kind to a voter to influence their decision. Mr Buckingham believes the senior card mailer flies in the face of that law.
This is a serious matter. It undermines our democracy. It takes advantage of vulnerable people.
In a statement to 7 Spencer Golf, a national spokesperson said the seniors card is a government policy and not a bribe, and that people calling it an incentive to vote for the party are trying to tear down a game-changing policy that will benefit regional areas. Mr Buckingham says he's waiting to hear back from the Electoral Commission. Patrick Ryanke, 7 Spencer Golf News.
The tattered turf of Port Augusta's Central Oval could soon be in for a transformation after the council voted to seek funding for an upgrade. It's hoped an improved playing surface will help attract high-profile sporting events.
The infrastructure at Central Oval is nothing short of impressive.
The structure itself is doing its job.
But the playing surface does not match the quality of the club rooms.
We have issues with our drainage problems and our current turf. It's been there for many, many years.
The local council realising disparity needs to be fixed, with the elected body voting on a motion to seek government funding for an upgrade. If successful, further steps will be taken to get the surface up to scratch.
So we need to look at the right type of irrigation, the right type of the way the oval's set and shaped and so forth, how much grass area we actually want.
A review in June last year found the oval required a significant upgrade to improve the current condition. Turf specialists have already pitched ideas, including a dome design to improve irrigation and cope with increased use of the ground.
And that's the intent. It's not just purely for football, we're looking at multiple sports activities.
Mayor Brett Benbow is adamant that an upgraded playing surface would have the potential to host high-profile sports matches.
possibly setting up an Iron Triangle AFL season of areas, that would be fantastic for all the region.
Garth Burley, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The Lower Eyre Peninsula's Wakeland Road project is costing taxpayers an additional $115,000 to complete. The project ran into complications with the introduction of the Monarch Crest development, requiring excavation work to safely join the roads.
Reduced the gradient at the intersection because it was too steep for tall vehicles to turn right from Wakeland Road into the Boundary Road extension.
The project's now costing more than $600,000 and is expected to be completed later this year. Coles in Port Augusta has introduced new technology aimed at stopping the theft of shopping trolleys. Wheels have been fitted with locking systems, which locals hope will mean an end to abandoned trolleys around town.
They're vital for a trip to the grocery store, but somehow they're being dumped right around town.
Riverbanks, parks, outside houses. It's just horrible.
A new strategy is hoping to stop thieves dead in their tracks. Each trolley has been fitted with new wheels, which use radio frequency technology. A feedback loop is created around the designated Coles area, and when customers try to leave past the checkpoints, the wheels lock up.
I reckon it's a brilliant idea.
There are so many trolleys left lying around the street.
The recent removal of around 500 drowned trolleys from the seabed of the Spencer Gulf was the catalyst for the change. And since the technology began today, it's already snagged its first victims.
I just had one early part and it locked up on me. Tested it out, it works brilliant.
In a statement, Coles said, "Abandoned trolleys are a nuisance to local communities, and they are actively working to make this better across the nation." But the wheel trackers are very sensitive, so beware. Plan your shopping trip, or you could be stuck with a trolley full of groceries that can't be moved. Garth Burley, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, a nationwide vet shortage is putting pressure on our regional clinics, and history buffs uncover relics from a World War II aircraft. Hello again. A nationwide veterinarian drought is putting strain on regional clinics, with postgraduates opting to work in the city. Long working hours and low starting wages have been attributed to the shortage.
A nationwide veterinary shortage creating serious challenges for our regional practices.
There's a number of vet clinics who are desperately looking for vets who have been searching for quite a long time now.
Port Pirie no longer has a 24-hour clinic, with local vet Philip Taylor saying that it's hard to find postgraduates willing to work out of hours.
They won't be able to get new graduates work for them if they're asking them or requiring them to do after hours, especially if they have to do after hours on their own.
Seeking a locum workforce outside of the city has become extremely challenging.
They're in such demand that they're typically not even making it past the inner city practices and suburbs.
You need to be offering them a good length of time because they've had to travel, which you pay for their travel, but they're not going to be available on a short-term notice.
State President of the Australian Veterinary Association, David Mason, has attributed an influx of foreign students into capped courses as part of the issue, with many leaving the nation after graduation.
The universities have increased their quota of students coming into the course, but a lot of them are full fee-paying students and a lot of them are overseas students.
Dominic Beaton, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Whyalla residents are being urged to use this weekend to clean up their properties, with free dumping available. It'll happen this Saturday at the Mount Laura Waste Facility. Locals can dispose of their household rubbish at no cost. The event forms part of this weekend's Clean Up Australia Day, which will see a number of local efforts to tidy up the city. CEO Chris Cowley says the offer is a perfect opportunity for residents to part with their waste.
Dispose of it properly and in a right facility rather than either pile it up at home or, like some people do, which we wish they wouldn't do, is dispose of it out in the bush.
All loads must fit within an 8x5 trailer, and the offer does not apply to hazardous waste loads or commercial operators. A handful of history buffs are experiencing the discovery of a lifetime by stumbling across parts of an old aircraft in the tidal flats of Port Pirie. The unique relic's believed to be part of a plane for training pilots during World War II.
Just west of Port Pirie lies a forgotten history. Relics of the Second World War now sunken into the tidal flats and creeks of Port Davis. A handful of history enthusiasts have made it their mission to dig up the past.
There's stuff underneath, look. Yeah, I see it, yeah. Oh yeah, well we've got to clean that then.
Local fisherman Ian Murdoch made the discovery of a lifetime when he stumbled across what appeared to be remnants of a World War II aircraft.
Well, we come out here and took the wrong road because there's heaps of roads here. And where we pulled up, there was all this stuff sitting on the side of the track. So we had a look, and sure enough, they turned out to be aeroplane parts.
Ian was quick to call Peter Smith, a restoration guru from Parafield who travels the world looking for skeletons of old aircraft. Substituting an extension cord as a grappling hook, he was able to retrieve a number of parts from beneath the tide.
That's the front, and that's the back of it there. That's your tailpiece.
Former Port Pirie Mayor and historical author Ken Madigan witnessed a number of training accidents involving aircraft as a child, including the tragic downing of a Kitty Hawk which took the life of United States Airman Richard Pingree.
We could tell when they were in trouble. We knew what type of aircraft it was. And of course we were on our push bikes, straight out from school. It didn't matter if it was lunchtime.
The remnants of the uncovered aircraft are that of an American make, but the exact aircraft model remains unknown. Dominic Beaton, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The countdown is on for the Silverton Sunsets Music Festival, with organisers hard at work making the final touches. The 3-day country concert expecting hundreds to flood through the gates from tomorrow night.
It's back and it's set to be bigger and better than ever.
Where could you go for $120 and see 10 of the best artists in country music in Australia? Only one place, Silverton Hotel.
After a very successful first year that saw over 500 people converge on the township of Silverton, organisers are hoping to outdo themselves with this weekend's Sunsets Festival.
The ticket sales are on pace and as I said, the weather's looking good, so everybody needs to get out here and don't miss it.
The festival is held over 3 days and it gets underway tomorrow night with the Outback Bush Dance. Saturday is the big one. From midday to midnight, 12 hours of country music from the likes of Sarah Storer, Tanya Kernaghan, Troy Cassadaly and many more.
You don't have to like country music to enjoy this weekend. It's really about good music and it's about having the acoustic element, the Australian element that you're not going to see at any other festival in Australia.
Sunday will be a laid-back recovery day featuring a few artists at the old church before a session back at the hotel. Tickets are still on sale. It's an event not to be missed. Patrick Roinke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. We'll find out what's biting around the region and we'll have this week's weather details with Britt. Welcome back. Now it's time to take a look at what fish are biting around the Spencer Gulf.
I tell you what, this hot weather is really turning it on. Yellowfin whiting are just about coming out of the woodwork around this particular way. Any way you want to go, Tilawi Beach, Barrows Beach, around the 1st, 2nd, 3rd creek, they're all there happening. And some of the ones I was just telling Dominic off air, we had some dropped in this week were about this big. Absolutely perfect eating and perfect catching. So make the most of it while they're there. The weather's going to be hot for the next few days. Get out and have a crack. While you're there, throw a crab net in. You're always going to get yourself a feed of crabs as well. So that's about all we have to report though. The season is starting to cross over. Come April we will have our squid, so get yourself prepared for that as well.
G'day and welcome to this week's Fish and Tips from Port Augusta, Jewel of the North. Well, some big kingfish getting spotted, not really caught at the moment. There's some further south getting caught, but expect them to turn up anywhere from sort of Chinaman's Creek around the powerhouse. The schools, well, probably just one school of about 6, but they're really big at the moment. Try trolling for salmon around there, but just have that big rod ready at the same time in those areas. Lots and lots of crabs around, as you expect this time of year. Tip is get out early, get out of that heat and be sun smart as well. Some nice big garfish up and around the mangroves that people have been getting. Like when the moon's up, try a little bit shallower. When it's down, go a little bit deeper. And that's all we have from the Jewel of the North.
Plenty of crabs, probably running at their best throughout Whyalla, both north and south. Everyone hitting bag limits within the first hour or two. Plenty of good sized crabs, guys, so really get amongst those. Again, lots and lots of garfish coming from all directions around Whyalla. There's been only a few snapper, most of them being caught on the old leat and tug on the swing of the tides. Best has been late afternoon on the incoming tide as it's turning. Further around the Gulf towards Point Lowly, there has been some nice salmon taken from the rocks out there, and also some nice big bronze whaler sharks.
G'day guys, and welcome to this week's fishing tips from Port Lincoln. Starting up around Tumby Bay, at the jetty there's been a few squid, tommies and garfish down there. Back around Port Lincoln, the guys have been doing really well on the squid. Offshore news has been a little bit hit and miss. Some guys have been finding the tuna alright, other guys have been finding it a little bit tough. Places to try include Thistle Island and Low Rocks. There's also been a few small kingfish around Low Rocks and the Cabbage Patch, and also some Samson fish out there at the Cabbage Patch. Over at Coffin Bay, there's been a bit of a mixed bag out there. The whiting is starting to improve inside the bay. There's been a few squid out there as well towards Frenchman's area, which has been good to see. That's it for this week. We'll see you all again next week.
And time to take a look at what's happening in the weather. Here's Britt.
Thanks, Casey. As the heatwave continues across our region, we've seen high temperatures again today. Port Augusta reaching 41 degrees, Whyalla 37, Port Lincoln 30, Broken Hill 38, Port Pirie 40 and Adelaide 37. To the clouds now, and we've had mostly clear skies thanks to ridges of high pressure and a very dry air mass. A slow-moving trough of low pressure will reach our coastal waters on Saturday ahead of a cool change. On the waters tomorrow, northerly winds at 15 to 20 knots, seas at 1.5 metres. Sunrise is due at 7:06 with sunset just before 8 p.m. And we'll see more extreme heat again tomorrow. Port Augusta 42, Whyalla 41, 39 the top for Port Lincoln, Coffin Bay 35, Woodner 43, Corn 40, Broken Hill 37, Port Pirie with a top of 41, Clare 39, Cleve 41, Kadina and Adelaide both 40. But the heat will subside on the weekend, with that cool change bringing much lower maximums on Sunday. Port Lincoln back down to 24 degrees to finish off the weekend, Cleve 28, Woodner falling back into the mid-30s. Whyalla a fine weekend ahead, down to 33 on Sunday, Port Augusta dropping to 37 and Kadina down to the early 30s. Port Pirie a top of 36 on Sunday, Clare 33, but that cool change will miss Broken Hill with consistently high temperatures heading into next week. So Casey, we've got another hot day ahead, but relief from the heat is on its way.
Thanks for that, Britt. And that's the local news this Thursday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.